Hi guys, German Prepper here. Today's intel is almost amusing if you watched my video German Proxy War yesterday. If you haven't, check it out for an outrageous laugh after this. So, a Western ammo shortage, could it be? Well, listen to these words from Jamie Shear, formerly Director of NATO Policy Planning, now a Fellow at Chatham House, a think tank in the United Kingdom. Ukraine was a lesson in how war is still often won through the classic elements of artillery, ground troops and occupation. The military balance that has shifted from the old to the new must change again. He notes, it's like the great shell crisis of the First World War. Shear is recalling a scandal in 1915 when the massive use of artillery in World War I trench warfare depleted British supplies, a shortage that led to heavy troop losses and the resignation of the British Prime Minister of the time. So couple this with the words of Alex Vershinin, a US procurement expert. The total annual US production of 155mm artillery shells, for example, would last less than 2 weeks of fighting in Ukraine. This conflict marks the return of industrial warfare. Finally, a quote from Ben Wallace, the UK's Defence Secretary, who said, Western countries would find it difficult to wage a protracted war comparable to Russia's attack on Ukraine, as their stockpiles of munitions are inadequate for the threats we face. It's worth noting, guys, during a simulated war game last year, the UK ran out of ammunition after 8 days. Yes, 8 days, not 4 years. So that's the expert's opinion. What do the big arms manufacturers have to say? Well, Raytheon, who makes Stinger missiles, has stated some of the electronic components of the Stinger missiles, last built at scale 20 years ago, are no longer commercially available. Thales UK, which makes the NLAW anti-tank missiles used in Ukraine, Chief Executive Alex Cresswell says, the UK is running out of defence stocks, but not investing enough to renew them. Finally, there is Lockheed Martin, which made the US multiple launch guided missile systems that Kiev has been urgently requesting and receiving so it can launch strikes behind Russian lines. Now note this, guys. The US has shipped about a third of its total stockpile of 20,000 to 25,000 missiles. Wow. So guys, this war is bleeding the West dry when it comes to all forms of munitions, and they simply lack the manufacturing capability to make up shortfalls. Ukraine has enough ammo presently, but were the West to now be forced to fight a war, it will be woefully under-provisioned in a protracted conflict of attrition. If you can legally buy, store and use ammo where you live, and you can imagine having a future need for it, then now is probably the time to stock up. Keep prepping, guys. Cheers for now.